Here's Brody Brazil.
Everybody talks about the stadium expense as the big deal for the A's. Can they afford it? Why are they negotiating on, $70, $75 million, $120 million? If it's not that big a deal, just pay it, get it done with, and start your stadium building process. But what if I told you that everybody right now is focused on $1.5 billion? How do you pay for that ballpark? And, can the A's afford it? That is the biggest expense of everything here. That's the biggest deal. When in reality, the stadium expense is not the big deal. I mean, it is right now, but in the bigger picture and the sustainability of a potential Las Vegas A's, the stadium expense is not the big one. You're looking at a $1.5 billion starting place for the ballpark. Like every other construction project in the history of construction, it's probably going to go up from there. And it could be 1.6 or 1.7 or 2.1, whatever it is. Probably going to cost more. But that is a significant amount. But put that amount right next to an additional $1 to more likely probably $2 billion every 10 years that the A's are going to have to start paying more for player salaries. Let me step back here and give you an analogy real quick. Kind of like a young person or family who is renting a small condo. And, you've got a couch here and a bed in the other room. And then all of a sudden, though, you come across some money or a situation, or there's the opportunity to buy your own house. And my goodness, buying that house is super intimidating and it's expensive. And this is the most money you've ever spent. And so you go forward with it and you're comfortable enough and you do it. Congratulations, you now own a property and a home. But then you move into that home and you realize, this is a 4-bedroom house. We literally have one bed and the one couch we had at the apartment and the one table. It was our dining room table. We've got a family room, a kitchen nook, a dining room. Like, we don't have everything that we need. And it's not your fault. You just never had it before. You weren't ready for this. And a lot of you know kind of where I'm going with this. Buying the house is one thing, but then re-landscaping it or taking care of maintenance of it or adding the furniture inside, if you never had it, that stuff all starts to add up. And the problem is, if you're in Las Vegas, you're going to be bringing people into your house. You can't have crummy furniture. You can't have a unmaintained lawn in the front yard. You have to make it nice to compete. And that's my next point, which I'll get to in a second. But the cost of furnishing this house is equal to, or in this case, like we can crunch the numbers. The A's right now in 2023 have a $60 million payroll per year, or this year, I should say. The league average right now is $100 million more than that. So do $100 million times 10 years, add in some inflation along the way, and let's just say that some years you have to spend more than the league average to maintain a very competitive product. I said $2 billion. I stand by that. Maybe it's 1.7, but high ones or $2 billion every 10 years. This is also not just a one-time thing. This is going to happen in the first 10 years, the next 10 years, and 10 years after that. The A's haven't had to go this high route with the salaries before. Now they have to. And that gets to my next point. Why do they have to? If you don't maintain your players, if you don't bring in the spotlight players, if you're always banking that, people will come to A's games in Las Vegas to see Shohei Ohtani, maybe on the Dodgers, to see Aaron Judge on the Yankees, to see whoever, you name it. If you're only coming to see the other team's superstars, is that the sustainable model of baseball you really want to build? You have to build your own exciting product. You have to pay for your players. You have to sign free agents. You really have to go in here. You know why? It's not just for your own sake. It's because you are competing on an every night basis with Cirque du Soleil, with the Blue Man Group, with David Copperfield, with Tiesto. You're competing with Tiesto on a Friday night for the night game against Cleveland, or Tiesto's concert starting at 8:15 or whatever. He's probably more like 10:30, but you understand. You could probably do both, but you're competing with Vegas entertainment. You can't put out a bad product. And that's my point here. Like, would you go see bad concerts? You wouldn't. And look, I'm saying all this stuff because I've been to Las Vegas enough. I'm also from Northern California, where we don't have all this cool stuff. We don't have Vegas entertainment or atmosphere. Who does? Maybe Nashville, but it's rare, right? It's rare that this happens. So that's why this is so unique. You know, like in the East Bay on a Friday night, there's not all these choices. And so an A's game outside in the summer, maybe fireworks. So yeah, that's a pretty good option for a family. And again, different demographics of people coming to these games, whether you're in the Bay Area or Las Vegas. But the generality is this: you need to put on a good product. You need to pay for that product. That's something that the A's have not been doing. They'll have to do. So the bigger picture, again, if I could make one thing clear, if you're very focused on can a ballpark be paid for or not? Yes, that is an important question to ask right now. But the bigger question, like the real question is, will competitive teams be paid for? Can that be afforded down the road? Because if it can't, this doesn't seem like a plan for success.